Hey everybody, let's talk Line 6 Helix tips, and today we're going to be talking about solo boosts. And I'm going to show you 5 different ways to do solo boosts with the Helix, and 3 of those ways are going to be for a clean solo boost. So here we go. Okay, so for all these examples, I'm just going to start with a relatively empty patch so we don't have to be distracted by all the other processing blocks, but all these methods should work no matter how many blocks you have in your patch. So the first method I want to show you is to use a effect pedal, like a distortion pedal, that's in front of your amp. You can see I have the level set to 6 here by default. So what we can do is we can go into our hamburger menu here, choose controller assign, and we want to assign not the gain parameter, not the tone parameter, but the level parameter. Let's learn the controller, and then we just push any button, and now that is controlling the level parameter of the distortion pedal. So minimum value we're going to put at whatever value we want to be the default value saved with the patch, and the maximum value whatever we want our boost to be. So let's say I want our boost to be +3, so I set the maximum value to 9. Let's go back to our home screen. Now you can see the level has these brackets around it. Any parameter you see with brackets around it means it's assigned to a controller somewhere. Now in this case it's a foot switch. So you can see it's set at 6 right now by default. We push our boost button and now we have a level of 9 on our distortion pedal. Go back to 6, up to 9. So we're good to go there. Now the thing is, when we use our distortion as the volume boost, when I kick that in, it's now level 9, but we're also driving the front of the amp harder. And I think all you guys are guitar players, so you know what that means. You drive the front of the amp harder, and you're going to get more grit and more distortion out of the amp. Sometimes that's fine for a solo, sometimes that's exactly what you want. So that's it for method number 1. Okay, let's talk method number 2. Now let's say your patch is saved with the distortion pedal at a level that's already pretty hot. You can't use this guy to do your gain boost anymore. So what we need to do, if we still want that extra grit, is we need to add an extra block in front of the distortion pedal here. Now we don't want to add any other effects, we just want to get our volume boost. So in the volume category we're going to go into mono here, and not a volume pedal but a gain block. And a gain block is nothing other than a volume control. So I can go into our hamburger menu again here, do controller assign, and gain is the only parameter. Turning this knob does nothing for us. So let's learn the controller we want to use. Pick any foot switch. Let's pick this one again. And now we set it in the same way. Let's set the minimum value to 0. And this part can be a little bit touchy because the range is so big, so small movements on the knob can result in very big movements on the actual value. But we'll set the minimum value to 0. We'll set the maximum value to, say, +3 here. Now this is going to give me 3 dB volume boost, and the way we have it set, go back to our home menu here, you can see it's set to a 0 dB volume right now, but when I kick in the foot switch, it goes to +3. So now that's my volume boost. Now we're still in front of the amp here. So when I kick this up by 3 dB, it's still providing a lot more signal into the front of the amp, so you're still going to get that grit, that extra distortion boost by driving the front of your amp harder, which a lot of times is what you want from a solo. Okay, let's start talking about clean boosts. I promised you 3 different ways to do a clean boost. So here's way number 1, and that's using the amp model itself. So you can see my amp model is set at a volume of 7 here, so I can come into our hamburger menu. I can do controller assign. Then I can choose what parameter I want to control. Let's control the channel volume. Let's learn which controller, pick any switch. We'll do this one again. Now let's set the minimum value to what it was saved at in the patch, which is 7. Just come right up there, and we got it. The maximum value is set at 10. That's all there is to it for that. So we go back to our home screen and you can see our amp is set at channel volume 7. When I push the button, it jumps up to channel volume 10. This next example is another clean boost example that won't alter your tone any, but in the previous example we used the channel volume of the amp. But what if your patch is set up such that the amp is already pegged, or you have effects after the amp that could be affected by the volume, so you don't want to do the clean boost with that. So essentially what I have here is starting off the same as boost method number 2 with the gain block in front here, and I have it set to a parameter here. So let's go over to that gain block. Now in this case, what I need to do is push the action button, and that picks up the effect block. I hope you can see that on the camera here. If I push the action button, it sets it down. I push it again, it picks it up. So you pick up that gain block with the action button, and then you just use the joystick to bump it. And you can see you can pick it up and move it around. So I'm going to move it all the way to the end and push the action button again to set that block down. Now we have the same thing we had in method number 2, but now when we push this gain button, it gives us that extra 3 dB gain boost, but we're at the end of the chain. And since we're at the end of the chain, we're not going to get any extra signal or any extra grit or any extra drive into any of our effects blocks. It's straight into the output. Now in this case, we're going to do it without using up any of our processing blocks. Just use the action button and clear that block so it's gone. Now I can actually go over here and select this output circle, and you can see it has a level control on it, which is pretty awesome. So I come up here to our hamburger menu, choose the controller assign. We don't want to assign pan, we want to assign the level, and we're going to learn the controller, pick a button we want to use right there. And now we can set the minimum value to 0. Looks like I'm getting it pretty quick this time. That's pretty cool. Remember, the editor is awesome and it lets you just type these values right in. So that's pretty great too. But I will go to a plus 3 dB here. Now I can go back to our home screen. And now you can see I have that output block selected, level is 0, and my boost button here. Click that button, now we have plus 3 dB of boost. Now this is also a clean boost, and in terms of the sound, it works exactly like when we had this gain block right before it here. It's just going to be plus 3 dB on the outputs. I'm going to give a bonus tip for this video because this scribble strip usually comes up with some kind of default name like level or gain, and you just see something that says level. Is that the level of the distortion pedal? Is that the level of the output? Does this patch have a clean boost or a dirty boost assigned to it? Now I happen to know, because we just did method number 5, that this one is assigned to a clean boost, but let's actually save that in the patch so it comes up saying that all the time. So we're going to go back into our little hamburger menu here and go into the command center. In the command center, we just need to select the foot switch that we have this assigned to, and we'll go into customize. You can see it'll show then level on the screen, and I use my joystick on the side here to rename that thing. So let's rename this guy to something descriptive. Now we set this patch up as a clean boost, so let's make this guy say clean boost on him. And that is a pretty easy thing to do for us here. Now I always find it helpful to name these things descriptively, because then you don't have to guess whether you have a clean boost on this parameter on this foot switch, or whether it's a dirty boost in front of the amp. So I'm very fond of naming my things very descriptive things. So you can see it still says level, but when I hit the save button here, it now says clean boost. So I go back to my home screen, and now whenever I turn that on and off, I can see that I'm just turning my clean boost on and off. So that's pretty much it. So those are my 5 different ways to do solo boosts, and a little bit of instruction on how you can rename your scribble strips. Definitely go check out my blog. I'll throw a link down in the description. I've got a lot of other Line 6 info there, as well as a lot of great home recording advice articles. And certainly if you like the metal I'm laying down here, go check that stuff out on iTunes or wherever you like to stream your music. Thanks for watching.
Solving problems, you can see me. Don't look at me. away from me, digging deeper, flying higher, striking further. Walk to my soul, loses common, so forsake me. Something enemy will make me one. What does me to destroy me? Choking, I want me. Choking, choking, I want it. I'm choking.